Welcome to the stream. I hope you've had a great week so far. Today is going to be a bit of a different stream. I want it to be informative and I want to cover artillery and what it does and what it's supposed to be like. I am joined with Sephyx, which for those that don't know, haven't been on the stream before with him. He is in the US Army and he works in an artillery unit. Sephyx?
Artillery.
He's not even here.
Is he even there?
Okay.
It's called a battery.
It's called a battery. Okay. So he works in a battery.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Who's
I
Clara
don't
Pravda? Do we know who
Nope.
that is? Just a random person who's ready to go up against 4 Arties?
Yup.
Rocket.
I play
Sephyx.
too much.
I'm sorry, what? I was doing the thing.
Sephyx, it's your
What?
turn to monologue.
Yeah.
We're all gonna be quiet and we're all gonna
don't
listen
don't-
to you as you
please.
So
explain what you
Sephyx,
do.
what do you do?
How about this? You just... artillery.
Your
things.
artillery things. What does that entail?
Straight to the point.
I mean, I'm not wrong.
In your
you know
job
what I'm saying?
description.
No.
How about this? Look, I'm terrible at... Listen, I'm terrible at describing, so why don't you just ask me questions and I'll elaborate on those
All right.
questions.
Excellent.
So when you're on the field, you have a platoon, which is 3 pieces. You have a battery, which is 6, and then you have a battalion, which is 8. Right?
Yes, 6 pieces per battery, depending on how many batteries that battalion has. And I've only ever known battalions to have, at most, 3 batteries. I'm sure there's some out there that has more or less, but I haven't seen them.
And this is U.S. military.
Okay, so while he's organizing all of that, for those of you that just joined, what's happening right now is he's looking to show an actual representation of what real artillery looks like, as close, like a close proximity. And in our party, we currently do have Sephyx 1397, who in real life is in the military and gets to play in actual Arty tanks, which is super exciting. Do you like playing Arty in the game? Like, do you think that Arty, as it is a good mechanic?
Oh yeah, absolutely, because like it's nothing like you see in this game at all.
Right.
Nice. Is it better? Is it better?
It's
better when you're actually out doing it. Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, because in real life you just sit there a lot and don't move, right?
No, not necessarily. It depends. It depends on the unit's TACSOP, which means Tactical Standard Operating Procedure. So each battery, each battalion, whatever, is different. When we're in a tactical, like, combat environment, what it is for us is, like, we'll emplace platoons in different areas, and after, I think it's 6 hours, or every 3 fire missions, is when we're supposed to move. Because that's... Artillery is not hard to be traced.
Yeah,
Artillery can be traced back to where it fired.
yeah. That's
All
fair.
right. So, you know, pick a
Alright.
spot.
Given
get
the
ready.
scale of this game, you wouldn't... Yeah. So I
You
feel
wouldn't
like if we're gonna do this real, we should have... So wait, what do you want? Come on.
Puppy.
Yeah, seriously. If we're gonna do this real, we should set up like an actual gun line would be
So
set
it'll be
up.
diagonals of 3,
3 people
right?
on one side, 3 people on the other. So
Okay,
I would
let's do
say Black, Star Pie, and Bismarck. You guys go to the eastern corner, and then we'll set up over here.
Okay, on it.
Nero, let me see what you're.
My range isn't that far. Like, should we be moving closer?
Your range is pretty far.
I feel like my
Nero,
range
you would
is
not.
Is it?
You would never. You would never
Oh,
ever
yeah, it is.
in place there.
But
We're near
but
this.
wait, what I do?
Right. Just take aim on the mouse.
Yeah, we're Nero.
Oh.
So.
So, the reason why we're doing this is because people are saying that the barrage mechanic is an accurate representation of real life. And I thought about it. And when you watch movies, and you see shows and stuff with artillery, it is right.
That's east of
It
us.
is a hailfire of shells. But
Yeah.
on the
Lots of
playing
fun.
end, artillery does not pump out 4 rounds within seconds. Not World
Yep.
War One and World War Two artilleries. They don't have the breach to do that. So we're all aimed on the mouse, correct? We're all aimed.
I am fully
Wait,
zoomed
wait,
in.
wait, wait, wait.
Wait, no, someone's moving.
I'm slow.
Is that you, Bismarck?
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm slow.
So here we are in position. We've got 3 on the east side, 3 on like the midwest side. I mean,
Now, I
we're good.
cannot stress this enough.
And we're
This is what Sephyx would call a battery. 2 platoons make up 1 battery of artillery. So we are in a battery. This is what the US military use when attacking a target. And this is a barrage.
Oh, I'm so hungry
Fire.
for it. Oh, I'm ready. Fire?
That is what a barrage looks like.
Wow.
That is the accurate
That's
representation
realistic.
of a barrage from a battery.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Loaded?
Oh, it's beautiful. Can we do it again? I'm not loaded.
Well, I mean, yeah, he has to die,
I'm
so...
Fire.
Alright, I'm loaded. Found out.
That is a barrage
Oh,
of
it's
artillery
beautiful.
over a wide area.
Hey, I want to do this again, and I want to make it a little bit more
Okay,
accurate.
we can do.
Okay, yeah. So while we load back into it, can you explain to us
Oh, no!
before we get in, like... What? Oh no!
Sorry, I almost dropped the controller.
That is a no-no.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
So, Sephyx.
Alright, so why don't you explain how...
I want the mouse to line up near something, and then I'll explain from there. It's just easier when I have a visual representation is all. If he's next to like a screw it, like a bunker or a house or something, just like maybe 10 meters away from it. Not behind it, just away from it. To the side and front, just not behind it.
Sephyx, how long does it roughly take you to reload a 105mm artillery piece?
Oh, seconds.
Second.
Our rounds. If we have a quick number 1 man, which is what they're called, number 1 man or number 1 man or number 1 cannon crew member. Just once that cannon fires, as it's going back from its recoil, number 1 man slaps the breech handle. It opens the breech, the canister falls out, and the next round is waiting for him. Someone else hands him that round, he shoves it in, closes the breech, and it's ready to go. It's up to the gunner after that.
So,
It's a lot to take.
Really
It's a lot to take place, but it happens in the span of about 10 seconds.
So,
maybe less if you're
yeah,
really
really
fast.
cold day, your hands are freezing. You know. Well, like, for that,
Really cold.
on a
Oh, here we
slow
go.
day, how long would
You're
it
in a
take?
tank.
I'm not actually. My piece is towed.
So,
Oh.
on a cold day,
I
how
can
long would
actually
it take?
Towed behind a
as well.
Humvee. About the same.
It's yeah. So you're saying that the reload on an RD should be 10 seconds, approximately.
For 105.
From the artillery.
Bear in mind, that's a
Mine-
105,
mine-
not a 240.
So, okay.
It's a small,
Yeah.
it's not a big shell. So,
My rounds that I fire weigh about 60 to 65 pounds. They're not heavy at all.
Wow, that's not what I thought.
We're firing over here.
But you got to think that's a 105. Now the other piece I was on fired a 155, and that round was 98 pounds.
how long did that one take?
Jeez.
That takes about 20 to 30 seconds maybe
Pretty
because
accurate.
it's a completely different. Yeah, it's a completely different breach mechanism.
All
There
right.
you go. Your artillery is
What-
lining up.
Because on that
Second
piece,
one.
on that piece you have the round runner, which he picks the round up, brings it to the piece, puts it on the tray, right? You have another person that pulls a lever, that tray goes down and lines the round up with the breech.
So-
You have 2 more guys behind the piece with a ramrod. They ram the round into the breech, and then once they pull the rod out, they retract the tray, and then the breech goes down. And then once the breech is down and locked in, that round's ready
Yeah,
to
so
fire.
is it where the mouse sitting right now okay?
Let me see. Yeah,
Perfect.
that's perfect.
So, on your mark.
So the point of this is, hold on. The point of this is that right, and the last time we were firing at a singular tank, I wanted to use these houses as a representation of something. So say like, so most of the time artillery is used for infantry support. All right, the infantry will call down to our fire direction control. They will give us the stuff to put into the cannons, and that's how we know where to fire.
Oh wait.
Oh, that's just intimidating. Watching that mouse look at snake bite like that.
So the mouse would
Anyway,
be like a fortified location.
So in this situation, sort of. So in this situation, what would usually happen is that say these houses represent bunkers, or just something housing soldiers, or something that's a specialized target, a high priority target. Who's to the next to me? So Nero and
shot.
Renegade. I want you guys to aim maybe about 5 meters to the left of the mouse.
To the left.
Yeah, just because this is what it's gonna really look like in like real life. This is what I'm going for.
Okay, so my green circle is just touching the mouse.
Yeah, that's perfect. Alright, Lady Bismarck, you and me will fire at the mouse, and then Black and... I keep wanting to call you Pink now, but I know it's Star Pie. Or the way around. You guys will fire, like, towards the right of the mouse.
My shots are gonna hit
barely-
that building, that's alright?
That's fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
Alright, you ready?
Because when the military finds like a target like this that's just sitting there, like say they've come across troops that are resting or something like that, and they're like, oh, we need to take out this position. All right, the artillery's point is to take out that entire grid square. Like that grid square is going to be just deleted. So like we don't have enough pieces to really do that because we're only a battery. Something like that would take 1 or 2 batteries, maybe even a battalion.
So 18 pieces for those
depending on what else there.
A battalion is 18 pieces, a battery is 6, and a platoon is 3 for those that just joined. Alright, so fire, right?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, fire.
I like how we all hit him anyway.
I didn't. Mine fell on the side. So it would be an area.
I had it.
Alright.
Because you have to think, most artillery is dealing, their damage is done from
The
their
shrapnel.
flash, because they fragment. Yeah.
So the shell would get close to the ground or even hit the ground, and then the fuse would then detonate, exploding the shell as if it was like a grenade. And if you've played other games, the shrapnel or fragment, as Sephyx said, would then split off into different directions. In this case, because we're firing from the south north, most likely the shrapnel will then go north, or most likely in the direction.
Yeah,
Yes.
like you threw something at the ground and it splattered in that
Correct.
direction. Got it.
So
Got it. All right. So you're saying, Sephyx, that you wouldn't necessarily be aiming to hit him directly. You would be sometimes purposely covering the area around him to maximize your damage.
Right.
So
Right, it
splash
would be an
damage is
area-
pretty much
It
your
would be an
damage.
area of effect kind of deal.
Okay.
right, can we
Okay.
all aim on the mouse?
All right.
by the way?
I'm ready. Can we take him out? I can't. There's a building in my way.
Alright, 3, 2,
All right, I'm ready.
1,
I'm ready.
fire.
Ah, take it. Achoo. Oh man.
So that is what
Alright.
a
And so
real
you're saying
barrage
this reload.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna fire when I'm fully reloaded.
Hold down the trigger.
Does that make me a bad person? Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Hold down your triggers.
Wait,
Hold down your
can you-
triggers. Kill him. Kill him.
So
Sorry.
that is what a
How come
realistic
we all fire?
barrage would look like.
I be the target now.
Yes.
Sephyx, do you have anything else to add to that?
There's also one thing that we do sometimes. It's called a fire in sequence. Each platoon's gun is numbered. So first platoon, there's gun 1, 2, and 3. Second platoon is 4, 5, and 6. So our fire direction control might call down to us and be like, fire in sequence, we call it back and everything. And then they'll say, number 1, fire. Number 1 will fire. Number 2, fire, and so on and so forth until, we've expended the rounds, or we fired the number of rounds they want us to fire, or until target's destroyed. They'll call back, and we fire when they tell us to fire every time on that kind of mission.
All right. But that way, if you time it right, they can have like a non-stop.
Yeah, it's a constant barrage of rounds
It would
going
just
down
be
there.
round,
After a round,
round,
Just
round,
after that first one
round,
hits,
and
it's
then
just
back to the
boom,
first
couple
one.
seconds, boom, couple seconds, boom, couple seconds.
Yeah,
You know.
that's pretty cool.
And that's when
That's
in
pretty
movies
cool.
or such you'll see like one shell hit, then a few seconds later a second, third, and so on, and it looks like it's a continuous one. There could be only like 2 or 3 guns in play, 3 or 6 guns in play, should I say?
Yeah, what he was saying though about how like the smaller caliber guns, the reload's quicker because the shell is lighter. I think that's a super relevant point I've never thought about when I play Arty. I just thought they slow it down to make me cry, but that makes a lot
No,
of sense.
absolutely. Yeah, because you gotta think. You gotta think. Even though these are self-propelled pieces, these are not auto-loading pieces at all. I don't even know if that's a thing. Even though they don't show them here, there's actually people like loading those rounds. So think about it this way: like the T92.
I was just waiting to mention that.
Yeah, our 155 round weighs 98 pounds. I cannot imagine what a 240 millimeter round weighs.
They've got like
Jeez.
2 trucks that follow the T92 around with a massive like mechanism leading up to the back just to push shell up and into it. It takes like 4 or 5 people just to get that shell up there. I've got a picture of it on my Instagram. If you guys go over to my Instagram, scroll down, I've got a picture of it black and white. It looks absolutely fucking crazy. The picture of a T92 sat there with the mechanism. And if we look at the S51, it's got the same mechanism, to get the shell in, should I say. If we go over down to the S51, it was recently added, but that whole back bit is just to get the shell into that breech, because that's a 203 millimeter, so the shells must weigh a fuck ton, and that's just to get the shell in there.
That's ridiculous.
So
I wouldn't be good.
madness.
I wouldn't be good in there.
So
Overall, you've played the Equalizer. You obviously bought it like immediately because it's totes adorbs and it has speakers on it. What do you? So you like
That's
it,
absolutely
right?
the reason I
Obviously.
bought it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's nothing to do with the fact that you love Arty, but which one do you prefer? The Barrage, the gun? Like, what is your take on both of them?
They're both good in their own right. Like, yeah, the barrage mode is crazy weak, as it should be, because no regular artillery piece is going to fire 4 rounds out like that. It just doesn't. That's not a thing. So, I mean, I'm just glad, like, it gives you the option of having an actual single fire option, you know, so you can actually do damage and the piece can be useful.
as it would in real life.
I don't know if that answers your question.
That does. Also, I mean, it is pretty fun though. Just
It is
going
fun.
pew pew
It is
pew
fun.
pew. Like I know that I don't do damage with it. I know that. I literally go into a game and I go, okay, I have the barrage mode active, so I'm literally not gonna be a useful member of this team, but I'm gonna have a lot of fun while you guys pull all the weight. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
So, from a standpoint of yourself, would you say that you prefer the barrage mechanic, or do you prefer the single shot?
No, I prefer the single shot,
And
honestly.
to the high explosive mechanic, when you hit someone, let's just take the T92 for example, you can hit someone for like 1,000 damage with a 240mm. What's your opinion on that? Do you think that's reasonable, or do you think that's too overpowered, or do you think that's too weak?
I think it's about right. Honestly, if we're gonna go for realism here, it's like I was talking about saying earlier, like you can't apply realism to an arcade game. So honestly, I think it's just right, because if you set the fuse for that round to try to pen armor and explode as it goes in, then whatever it hits is just gonna be erased from history. You know?
Because the way the splash
But-
mechanic in the high explosive mechanics in this game work, I guess it would be set to pierce armor, because if we're going against tanks, not only that, the high explosive in World of Tanks detonates on impact and not before, so it would be to penetrate armor, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that fuse would technically be set to point detonation.
Right. So you think it's 100% reasonable?
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. I mean, if we were going to apply logic and reason and realism to this game, anything that's penned by a high explosive round on the inside should instantly be annihilated. That's how it would happen. But, you know, like I said, this is an arcade game, so that's not really an option.
Now, I am running the barrage mechanic because this is more of a problem with the mechanic itself. I have tested it. I had Horse Tornado in here a while ago, and if you were on my stream a few days ago, you would have saw that I point blank shot the front of an IS-3 and it did nothing. not a thing. Now, as an artillery player, this is my biggest frustration with this game. Alright, now, if you could sit next to me, Sephyx. Bismarck,
yeah,
you can back up a little bit. So, we both have the same caliber of gun. I'm using the...
Are we going for the upper
yeah,
plate?
direct, so it would be center mass.
Okay.
I'm using the 155
I can go down here.
4-shot
We just need
barrage,
for this.
which, as Sephyx said, is completely unreasonable. And this is what it will do to the front of an E50M. Sephyx, if you wish.
7.
Yeah,
fire?
no, that wouldn't be a thing.
You hit the gun.
I might have.
Bismarck, do you run a spall liner? Because you ram people.
Yes.
Of course you do. Once again at the front. Sephyx in for the lower plate this time, or
My
under the
gun
tank.
just
Well,
got
we'll aim for the under the tank.
obliterated.
Next one.
Oh, that. Wait,
Under
what are
the
we
tank.
aiming for now? Oh, hold on. I can't get my gun down. There we go. Like ground or the lower plate? Alright.
Not nearly as much. And that is my problem. Bear in mind, Bismarck is using a spall liner, unfortunately. But that's what it does. Nero, if you want, you can nuke.
Well, I think the reason for that is because I think back then the bottoms of tanks were not really
No, they
armored
weren't.
that
They weren't
well.
at all.
Like they were very
but no,
thin. So
I was
like,
just demonstrating that the barrage mechanic is absolutely horrible for direct fire, which is completely unreasonable, and a 155 firing that much high explosive, regardless if it was over the course of a year or 2 seconds to a week, doesn't matter. It should not do 7 to the upper plate.
Seven.
7.
7.
Sad.
I'm gonna make an emo in my Discord just with 7. Also, when you see in movies, you do see a lot of artillery shells. You do see a shower of shells. You really do. And someone made a comment saying, I like the barrage mechanic because it makes it more realistic. And I thought about it, and it got me really thinking, it doesn't. Yes, it may be realistic on the receiving end, but as the artillery player, or as playing it, it is completely, forgive language, bullshit. An artillery piece of this age, when I say this age, I'm directly speaking about the M53, would not have the mechanism to pump out 4 rounds that quickly. Unless you have, I don't know, fucking Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger fucking punching the shells out the fucking tube. You're not gonna get that much rounds out that quickly.
Here's the thing though, is like, even if you were to be able to load rounds that fast, after you get that round loaded, it's on your gunner.
Because you've still got to then reposition the gun and aim it.
Yep, every time.
Every time you've got to bring the gun, you said a high angle mission. So talk about the mission real quick. So what's a low angle mission?
So in the artillery world, we use something called mils. If you think degrees are small, mils are even smaller because there's 17.7 mils and 1 degree. Mils are used for traverse, which is left and right, and elevation, which is up and down. A low angle is anything that is below an elevation of 800 mils. Anything after that is a high angle mission. 800 mils is about 45 degrees ish, maybe.
So when you load in a shell,
So that's really
where
the
is
only
the gun
determining
position
factor.
gotta be?
Well, it depends because usually our gunnery sergeants will give us a position to emplace the gun. It just depends on the missions that you get. All right, here's a good example. If you're an artillery piece and you're parked behind a hill,
Yeah.
Alright? You can't shoot over that hill. So obviously, your gun's gonna be like at the crest of the hill. Because if something comes over, you don't want your gun to be facing straight forward if you gotta shoot up. Or if you've gotta, get your gun up in time to shoot over that hill.
So you've got to keep the gun at high elevation.
That's called a sight to... Not necessarily a high elevation. Just over what's called a sight to crest. So say you emplace the gun, right? When we emplace the gun, one of the things we have to do is we literally look through the tube and we measure our elevation with the tree line, the very, very top of the tree line. We got to make sure that when we fire, our rounds clear the top of that tree line. So whatever that elevation is at the top of the tree line, that would be the lowest point of the tube. That's where it would stay. It wouldn't go any lower.
All right. That's really interesting, actually.
Yeah, because like if you get a mission that comes down, you're wasting time because
Cranking the gun.
you're
up
not
and
already
down.
above that tree line. If you got to shoot, yeah, you're wasting time, and you got to get those rounds down range as quick as possible. That's called a sight to crest.
Alright, that's all we've really had time for today. I want to say thank you for all of you that joined and participated. My lads and lasses, that was Lucky Star Pie, Sephyx, and myself talking a bit about artillery, in-world things, console, and I hope you did enjoy and learn one or two things along the way. Hope to catch you next time on my stream at twitch.tv/renegade_central. Take care and keep it renegade. Bye bye.